Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. I am Marlaina, and if you're new here, we are the Skivers. We are a family of 5, and I have baby Cole's in the back. He's taking a nap. And Maddox, aka Magic, is behind me. We just picked him up from school. And we have about an hour until we have to go pick up Mason. If you didn't know, October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. And according to studies, 1 in 4 women will experience pregnancy loss, and I am one of those 4. I just recently had a friend go through a pregnancy loss. Her name is Jen, and she gave me permission to talk about her and some of her feelings, and her miscarriage kind of prompted me to want to make this video, especially since October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. You know, it's very common, more common than people think, and not a lot of people talk about it. So I thought I would make a video, talk about my feelings and experiences, and also talk a little bit about hers, because her voice needs to be heard as well. But Jen lives down in Southern California, and I am up here in Northern California, so she couldn't be on camera, but we talked a little bit about it over the phone, and I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit about things that she wanted to touch on. So if you would like to hear our stories, feel free to keep on watching. The first time I got pregnant was December of 2011, and at that time my husband and I were just dating. We were just boyfriend and girlfriend. He had already been planning that he was going to propose before we even found out, but we were just boyfriend and girlfriend. I found out I was pregnant, and I was so excited. For the longest time, as long as I can remember, I have always wanted to be a mom. That's the one thing in life I've always wanted, is to be a mother. So of course, when we found out, I was super excited. My husband, on the other hand, was a little bit different. It was a little bit shocking for him. He comes from a little bit more of a conservative background. So us being not married, it kind of freaked him out a little bit. And at that time we were younger, not super young, but we were younger, and I don't think he was mentally prepared to be a father at that time, and it just kind of shook things up for us. But you know, he was supportive. So we found out we were pregnant, and we right away scheduled our appointments. We went in and saw my gynecologist, did an ultrasound, heard the heartbeat, saw the little peanut on the screen, got our pictures, and you know, super excited. We told only close friends and, you know, my parents, and you know, my brother. We didn't really tell his parents because we didn't know how to tell them yet. You know, like I said, it's a little more conservative, so we were kind of waiting it out. But I was about 7 weeks along, and things just started not feeling right. I was experiencing some cramping, a little bit of spotting, and I kind of had a feeling I knew what was going on. Unfortunately, I experienced my first miscarriage, and it was probably one of the hardest things I've ever experienced in my life. At that time, not a lot of people knew. Not only was it, you know, painful, but emotionally, it kind of tore us apart. I wanted to talk about it a lot. You know, I was devastated, and I felt this empty feeling. Every day I would wake up and cry. You know, something that I wanted so badly was, you know, taken away from me. And I wanted to talk about it a lot, and Jeffrey didn't. I feel like in a sense he was kind of relieved because he wasn't ready, and you know, that was some of the things that we were going through at that time, and it was rough. We were set to be married in November of 2012, and around September we had decided, you know what, we're both ready. We're both ready to try again. So sure enough, we got pregnant right away, and we set our appointment. We went in, saw the heartbeat, and you know, the little baby, got our pictures. We were feeling really good about this pregnancy. You know, we were excited. So around 9 weeks, we decided to share it on social media with everyone because we felt really good about it. And I remember maybe a week later being at work, just didn't feel right. I was having these really weird pains in my stomach, and so I was about 9 weeks and I had my second miscarriage. Now that one was a lot harder than the first one. One, it was bigger, so physically it hurt. Mentally it tore me apart. I am not an overly religious person, but I do have my faith. I was raised Catholic. I've always been taught that God has your life planned out for you from start to finish. He has your life planned out. So for me, I got really angry and questioned my beliefs and questioned God, and thought, you know, if God has my life planned out for me, why would he plan for this to happen twice? Why would he plan for something like this to happen twice? And obviously it was a little different this time around because we had posted it on social media. So of course we had to turn around and then tell everybody that we weren't pregnant anymore. And that was also very rough. I became very angry after that. It was rocky for me and Jeffrey because I just felt really lonely, and even though he was in a different place at that time and he was very, very sad and very upset, I was just very angry with everyone, and I was devastated, and then of course everyone else was getting pregnant and I wasn't, and you know, I would see people get pregnant that weren't married, or friends that were really young that were getting pregnant and, you know, weren't in the best situation. And I was so mad and like, this is so unfair, and why are they getting pregnant and I'm not? You know, I'm married now and I did things the right way and I'm still not having a baby. It was really, really hard. I, at that point, had kind of given up and thought, you know, I'm probably never gonna be able to have kids. And there's such a big stigma on miscarriage and keeping it hush hush and don't talk about it because people get uncomfortable. But because of situations like that, you feel alone and like nobody understands you. At the time when I was going through those miscarriages, and people would tell me everything happens for a reason, and you know, the typical things that people say, and I know that they were just trying to be kind and be supportive, but at that time that's not what I wanted to hear. I didn't want to hear things like everything happens for a reason. So I had my second miscarriage in November of 2012, and to my surprise, January of 2013, just 2 months later, I got pregnant with Mason. And when I first found out, I was so scared because I thought, you always sit there and you wonder like, oh my God, this is gonna end in miscarriage. You freak out over the littlest thing. So I had decided with Mace, when I first found out I was pregnant, that I wasn't going to do any internal ultrasounds because that's, you know, the way that I feel that my body is and the way that my 2 miscarriages played out. I feel like I have a really sensitive cervix, so nothing was going in there. And 10 weeks, I did my first ultrasound, which was nerve-wracking, obviously, to wait that long, but I did my first ultrasound around 10 weeks so that we could, you know, just do abdominal. Saw his little heartbeat, saw him. Once our first trimester hit and it was over and we got into the second trimester, we finally announced it at the end of our wedding video that just had gotten finished. And, you know, we were really excited, but along with that came comments from people that were not the best. A family member asked me what was I going to do differently this time that I didn't do or did do the first 2 times. And that's probably one of the most insensitive things I heard. You know, after going through what I went through, I try not to ask people the questions like, when are you guys gonna have a baby? Or when are you gonna have another one? Things like that, because you don't know if people are currently trying and they can't get pregnant. You don't know who's struggling because people don't talk about it. And that's one thing that me and Jen have recently kind of bonded about. Obviously, she's, you know, my best friend, so she was there for me at the time, but you don't completely understand it until you go through it. So recently, I believe Jen's been married for a year. Yes, so a little over a year. And they just recently started trying, and it was exciting. Obviously, you want your best friend to have a baby and to be a mommy with you, and, you know, your other best friend. This is the 3 of us. We're like a little gang, little tripod. So when she told us that she was pregnant, I was so excited. So excited. Because, like, the last of the little tripod is gonna be a mommy, and she can, you know, do all the mommy things with us. So when she told us that she had lost the baby, my heart broke for her. And I'm probably gonna get emotional. My heart broke for her because I knew exactly what she was feeling. When you've waited so long and you get that news and you see that positive test, you're so excited. And then it gets taken away, and it's so painful, and people don't understand it. You're sad, so you seek comfort, and you look at like these other support groups of women that have, you know, gone through miscarriages themselves, because, you know, you don't want to talk about it with like friends because you haven't really told people, and, you know, it's awkward to kind of come out and say that sometimes. So she was looking at, you know, forums, and there was something she sent to me that just made me so mad. There was a person who commented on there and said that a miscarriage at 6 weeks is not a baby, and you should not be sad. Like, it's ridiculous to be upset. It's dramatic. Like, who are you to say that you can't be sad at a miscarriage at 6 weeks? Who are you to say that it's, you know, dramatic? To some people, that's a baby the minute you get a positive pregnancy test. And especially to people who have wanted to be moms for so long, as soon as you get that positive test, it's life-changing. And then you get it taken away, and it's life-shattering. It makes my chest tight just thinking about it. People shouldn't judge other people for what they choose to believe. You have every right to grieve the way that you want to grieve. Looking back on it now, I do realize that everything does happen for a reason, and obviously I was meant to be the mother to Mason and Maddox. After having Maddox, I did decide to go on birth control, obviously, because I had felt like I was pregnant forever. So I had my IUD put in, and then when Maddox was about 2.5, we decided, you know what, we're ready to try again. Let's try for that baby girl. So I took it out in March of 2016, and I got pregnant right away, April of 2016. So I tested as soon as I could find out. Sure enough, I found out super early. I was probably barely 4 weeks pregnant when I found out I was pregnant. And a week later, I had a miscarriage. That was rough because at that point, I thought, you know, I was past all that. I thought, you know, I had 2 babies. Why did it happen again? Like, I thought I was okay. So that was pretty rough, kind of set me back a little bit. And then, you know, had to put myself back together and try again. And this time it took a little bit longer. I didn't get pregnant with baby Cole until August of that year. But, like I said, I do believe everything happens for a reason. And, you know, that's something that I try to talk to Jen about, but I try not to because, like I said, I hated when people told me that. So, you know, I just try to be supportive of her and be there for her and, you know, just let her know that I'm here and I understand, and, you know, you let yourself experience what you're feeling. Like, don't try to, you know, shut it down. Don't try to hide it. Like, be sad, grieve. You have every right to be. You know, you're nervous to try again, and you're anxious, and you know, you wonder, when will it be my turn? When will I be happy? When will I get to experience that? And I pray that she does. I pray for her every day. And, you know, I feel like it's in the cards for her. So hopefully one day she gets to experience that. It's rough. But I try to be very open and honest about mine now because, one, I've been through so many. Why hide it? I like to be open. Maybe sometimes I'm too open, according to my mother. Because for me, if my story can help one person feel not alone or feel better or give them hope, then it's all worth it. You know, I've had 3 miscarriages, but I've also had 3 healthy babies. Like I said, if my story can give one person hope, then why not share it? And since October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, I figured this is the perfect time to share my story. So thank you for watching this video. Feel free to comment. And if you're going through this, know you're not alone. If you liked this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And we'll see you in our next one. Have a good day.